official track. It's one of those lyric videos where you think like, God, that must have cost so much money. You should have just turned it into a video.
Oh, one of them, yeah. Carl, Brendan and Dan here from Games, Brains and Headbang Life, gbhbl.com for sure. And we are returning to Oceans to do another reaction video. Of course, you know, go check out the other one first if you want to kind of get why we're following this up with voices here. Brendan, you can explain.
Yeah, so, you know, if you want a deep and meaningful reason, go and check out the reaction to Everyone I Love Is Broken. But this is another track on the EP. This song is called Voices, features Lena Scissorhands from the band Infected Rain, vocalist. I guess, you know, obviously it stays on the topic. Of course it does. You know, that's the whole point of the EP, you know, focusing on mental health and depression. But I guess this is another angle on it. This is probably the more aggressive side of it, you know, arguing with yourself in your head, that sort of thing. You know, the voices, essentially.
This isn't Disturbed. This isn't Voices like Disturbed style.
It's not a cover.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
I was so surprised the first time that happened.
Yeah, from that like almost slam death metal with those blast beats. a bit of an unusual one, that track. It's weird because at times it's like, I'm like, damn, this is super polished. Particularly when they sort of mess around with the effects more than anything else. But other times, for the most part, like it's weird. My thoughts went to almost directly after each other. I was like, oh, this is less polished when it's a bit more guttural and dirty. And I'm like, okay, it's got a little bit of a rougher sound. And then it hit, I'd be like, oh no, that's super fucking polished. And that made it very unusual to listen to. I think it's a good track. I don't think it's as good as the other one. I think this one is a little bit more formulaic, and the clean parts don't really excite me in the same way. Whereas when it gets really heavy and there's some great blast beat drumming going on there, that kind of thing, I'm like, okay, this is really, really, really cool. Again, it's got power behind it. It's a powerful fucking track. It's a powerful performance by a band that seems to clearly exude it, make it almost seem quite easy and quite natural to be able to make each of their instruments sound particularly loud and forceful and terse almost to a degree where it's uncomfortable. You're sitting there, and you can imagine in a live environment that as much as you might want to headbang or start a circle pit during this sort of heavy death moment, you kind of feel like you can't, you shouldn't, because they're putting such a performance on through the medium of the music, whether it be the vocals, whether it be the guitar, the drum. You almost should be seated, and you will watch this performance and listen to these songs and understand it this perspective, because it's that level of power where it's almost transfixing to a certain degree. That's what I feel like it would be like. I feel like if I'm watching it live, you'd be stuck to the spot and watching and going, Jesus, this is impressive.
For me, like, I mean, I agree. I like, and one of the reasons why I wanted to showcase this song really is because I do think there's quite a contrast between this and Everyone I Love Is Broken. Which is, and I think it kind of shows two faces of depression as such. One which is the almost defeated, grayed out, peeled up. Everything's broken. There's no point anymore. Whereas this is more the aggression side of it. I'm angry. All the voices in my head. I just want to smash my head against the wall, sort of stuff. One of the things I love about this, and actually it's probably worth at some point in the future, like watching this song again or listening to it again, but following along with the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because one of the cleverest things about this song, and actually I think it might lead into what you kind of suggested there, which is the polish sometimes, then heavy, and you don't really know. Like it's like an experience almost. It's almost a second line of vocals. It's the backing vocals that don't always come through very, very clearly, which are a second line to every sentence that you hear. And actually, when you follow it as a lyrical content, so for example, the line where he does all these voices in my head, and then in the background, really faded, Lena comes in with telling me that everything I do is wrong, and then he comes in with the next line, and there's always this second backup coming from it, and I thought they did that really cleverly. I love the way that they almost have the voices that he's talking about coming in, and
that's clever as fuck.
What I mean?
That's clever as fuck. There's no disputing that. Yeah, I did pick it up a couple of times. I didn't realize it was so prominent. I don't know if that's because I'm deaf in one ear. I'm not getting sound through this headphone.
It's possible, but it's essentially at every single point there's a line, that. It's like when I first listened to this track, for example, that line, I bashed my head against the wall, I thought it was a bit silly. But when I listened to it a couple times and I started picking up the lesson, and then I followed with the lyrical content, it suddenly started making a hell of a lot more sense, because I was getting a line before it and a line after it that it wasn't clearly heard unless I had the lyrics up, why they were bashing their head against the wall. Because the line on its own, when you go, I bashed my head against the wall, you kind of think like, okay, do you? But then when you start picking, but no, I from the thing that I guess forgetting about the content and everything like that, I can honestly say that 2 weeks ago I had never heard anything by Oceans, and 2 weeks later I look at this band. I didn't realize when I listened to this that they were on with Nuclear Blast, who are obviously the label, from scale perspective.
Yes.
And they, it's one of those ones, I guess every now and then it comes up to you go like, I've never heard of you guys before, man. Like, because this is my jam. Like, I love this stuff. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, because even when you look at views, it's like 20,000, which is loads, obviously, but it's still not like, it's still not mass amount that you might expect from a Nuclear Blast artist. Dan, what did you think?
I do like it. As Brendan was saying about the layered vocals in the chorus, I really like that, because you kind of got like this 2 layers of clean and then this quite shrill screaming underneath it all, which I thought was really cool. Probably for me personally, it's not really like my jam. I wouldn't listen to it, but I appreciate what they're doing.
Well, that's 2 out of 4 of the tracks done. Well, I'd probably end up doing all 4 of them by the end at this rate. But, you know, let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?